When we describe motion, we do so as a function of time. 10 meters per second, 100 miles per hour.
History books often present a polished narrative. But what about the untold stories that remain hidden? The photos you're about to see uncover the raw, unfiltered moments that textbooks often overlook. What secrets do these forgotten photos hold? From a defiant act against tyranny to the haunting remnants of war, these images capture the true essence of human experience. Stories that history forgot, but the camera didn't. Prepare to journey through time as we reveal some of the most fascinating and shocking photos that provide a glimpse into the side of history you've never seen before. Number 100. Babies left to sleep outside and forcing the immune system, 1958. In the Soviet Union and what is now Russia, there was a common practice during the 1950s through the 1970s where small children were made to sleep outside in the fresh air and sunlight, even during cold weather. This was believed to toughen them up and build stronger immune systems. The practice was rooted in the idea that exposure to natural elements would foster healthier, more resilient children, emphasizing the benefits of fresh air as a key component of child rearing. Number 99. American soldier, wearing the crown of the Holy Roman Empire in a cave in Siegen, Germany, on April 3, 1945. During World War II, the Nazis had seized the crown of the Holy Roman Empire from Austria in 1938 and hidden it in a cave in Siegen, Germany. On April 3, 1945, an American soldier discovered this treasure and, in a moment of audacity, donned the crown. This rare photograph captures the intersection of ancient imperial history with the brutal realities of 20th century warfare, highlighting the surreal moments that often emerge in times of conflict. Number 98. George Carlin being arrested for violating Wisconsin's obscenity laws after performing the controversial routine. On May 27, 1972, comedian George Carlin was arrested after performing his infamous routine, 7 Words You Can Never Say on Television, at a show in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The routine, which challenged societal norms and pushed the boundaries of free speech, led to his arrest for violating local obscenity laws. This event became a landmark moment in the fight for free expression, ultimately leading to a Supreme Court case that defined the limits of broadcast decency. Number 97. Wedding rings removed from Holocaust victims before they were executed, circa 1945. This haunting photograph shows thousands of wedding rings taken from Holocaust victims by the Nazis during World War II. The rings were removed before the victims were executed in concentration camps. These small, personal items, once symbols of love and commitment, were stripped away along with the victims' humanity. The sheer number of rings is a stark reminder of the scale of the atrocities committed and the countless lives destroyed during one of history's darkest periods. Shifting from the harrowing symbols of personal loss in the Holocaust to the shadowy world of crime and secrecy, we explore the juxtaposition between the devastating impact of historical atrocities and the hidden lives of notorious figures during the Prohibition era. Number 96. Mobsters hide their faces at Al Capone's trial, 1931. In 1931, during the infamous trial of gangster Al Capone, several mobsters were photographed hiding their faces from the camera. Despite their willingness to commit violent crimes and engage in criminal enterprises, these men were terrified of being publicly identified. The image highlights the paradox of their lives, brazen in their illegal activities but fearful of the exposure and consequences that could come from being recognized in the public eye. Number 95. A Serbian soldier sleeps with his father who came to visit him on the front line near Belgrade. Between 1914 and 1918, Serbia endured immense suffering during World War I, losing 27% of its population due to both military and civilian casualties. This photograph captures a Serbian soldier sleeping alongside his father, who had traveled to the front lines near Belgrade to visit him. The image illustrates the deep bond between father and son, even in the midst of war, and the heavy toll that the conflict took on families across the nation. Number 94. U.S. Army nurses sunbathing, 1945. This photograph from 1945 shows a group of U.S. Army nurses sunbathing beside a 40mm anti-aircraft gun aboard a Coast Guard manned troop transport. The ship was returning to the United States from overseas. The image contrasts the nurses' relaxed demeanor with the reality of their wartime service, reflecting a brief moment of respite and normalcy amidst the chaos of war. It also highlights the critical role women played in supporting the war effort during World War II. Number 93. German troops raising the Nazi flag over the Acropolis, 1941. In 1941, after the German 2nd Panzer Division captured Athens, they raised the Nazi flag above the Acropolis as a symbol of their victory. The image of the swastika flying over one of the most iconic symbols of Western civilization was a powerful statement of Nazi domination. It also marked a dark chapter in Greece's history during World War II, a period of occupation, resistance, and immense suffering for the Greek people under German rule. Number 92. Pin on Future Fashion, 1945. This photograph from 1945 showcases an unusual fashion prediction, illustrating what people of the time might have envisioned as future attire. The outfit depicted is likely a playful or imaginative interpretation of how fashion would evolve in the coming decades, reflecting the era's optimism and creativity. While the actual future of fashion took a different direction, this image provides a fascinating glimpse into the hopes and dreams of people living in the mid-20th century. Number 91. Albert Einstein, Hideki Yukawa, John Wheeler, and Homi J. Bhabha in 1954. In 1954, a photographer captured an extraordinary moment when some of the world's greatest scientific minds gathered together. Albert Einstein, Hideki Yukawa, John Wheeler, and Homi J. Bhabha. These scientists made groundbreaking contributions to physics, from quantum mechanics to nuclear energy. The photograph is a rare visual representation of intellectual power, bringing together diverse minds that shaped modern science, each leaving an indelible mark on their respective fields. Number 90. A young newsboy stands in front of a downtown Seattle theater, 1918. In 1918, a young newsboy was photographed standing in front of a downtown Seattle theater, which had been closed down after Mayor Ole Hansen's proclamation concerning public gatherings during the Spanish flu pandemic. The image captures a moment of disruption caused by the pandemic, which brought life to a standstill across the globe. The theater's closure is symbolic of the broader societal impact of the Spanish flu, which claimed millions of lives and altered daily life in ways that echo modern experiences with pandemics. Number 89. In Dad's Uniform, 1916. This 1916 photograph shows a young German boy wearing his father's military uniform. During this time, young Germans could volunteer for a year of service and pay for their military training if accepted. Some patriotic families encouraged their sons to join the military, even at a young age. The image reflects the militarization of German society before World War I and the sense of duty and nationalism that permeated many families, setting the stage for the conflict that would soon engulf Europe. Number 88. Indian soldiers burying dead Pakistani soldiers. After Pakistan refused to accept their bodies, Kargil War, 1999. During the Kargil War in 1999, Indian soldiers were photographed burying dead Pakistani soldiers after Pakistan refused to accept their bodies. The graves were marked with the sign "Unknown Soldiers," reflecting the grim reality of the conflict and the human cost of war. Despite the political and military tensions, this act of burial was a poignant reminder of the shared humanity on both sides of the battlefield. The war left a lasting impact on the region, with thousands of lives lost. Number 87. Children in front of the world's largest log cabin in Portland, Oregon, USA, 1938. This 1938 photograph shows children standing in front of what was then the world's largest log cabin in Portland, Oregon. The cabin was originally built in 1905 as part of Portland's Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition. It became a popular attraction for decades before tragically burning down in 1964. The image captures a piece of Americana, representing the pioneering spirit of the Pacific Northwest and the grandeur of early 20th century exhibitions that celebrated American progress and expansion. Number 86. Albert Einstein, defying the prevailing racial climate of the time, 1946. In 1946, Albert Einstein made a historic visit to Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, the first degree-granting black college in the United States. There he taught a class, defying the prevailing racial climate of the time. Einstein was a vocal advocate for civil rights, and his visit to Lincoln University was a powerful statement against segregation and racial injustice. The photograph of Einstein among black students and faculty highlights his commitment to social justice and his belief in equality for all. Number 85. 4-year-old Mary, who shucks 2 pots of oysters a day at Dunbar, Louisiana, 1911. This 1911 photograph depicts 4-year-old Mary, a young girl who shucks 2 pots of oysters a day at a processing plant in Dunbar, Louisiana. Her mother, known as the fastest shucker in the place, earns $1.50 a day. Mary often works alongside her mother, even holding her sick baby sibling while she labors. The image is a stark reminder of the harsh realities of child labor in early 20th century America, where children like Mary were expected to contribute to the family's income under grueling conditions. Number 84. Oswald Mosley, hit in the head while giving a speech, October 1937. In October 1937, Oswald Mosley, the leader of the British Union of Fascists, was struck in the head by 2 stones thrown by crowd members. The attack occurred after he delivered a fascist salute to an audience of 8,000 people. Mosley's provocative speech and salute incited the crowd's anger, leading to the violent response. Number 83. The assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, May 27, 1942. On May 27, 1942, Reinhard Heydrich, a key architect of the Holocaust, was assassinated in Prague by Czech resistance fighters Josef Gabčík and Jan Kubiš. The operation, known as Operation Anthropoid, was a turning point in the war, leading to brutal Nazi reprisals but also inspiring resistance across occupied Europe. Number 82. A Christmas party in an underground shelter in London, December 25, 1940. On December 25, 1940, families in London celebrated Christmas in an underground bomb shelter during the Blitz. Despite the ongoing terror of World War II, this photograph captures the resilience and unity of Londoners, who continued to find joy and community even amid the threat of bombing raids. Number 81. People greet American planes bringing food to West Berlin, Germany, 1948. In 1948, West Berliners welcomed American planes delivering food and supplies during the Berlin airlift. Surrounded by Soviet troops, the city relied on these airlifts for survival. The crisis, which began in June 1948, ended on May 12, 1949, marking a significant Cold War victory for the Allies. Number 80. Senator John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy, campaigning in New York, October 1960. In October 1960, Senator John F. Kennedy and his wife, Jacqueline Kennedy, campaigned in New York ahead of the presidential election. On November 8, 1960, Kennedy was elected as the 35th President of the United States, with his campaign emphasizing hope and change during a time of national uncertainty. Number 79. Aftermath of the Nagasaki atomic bombing, August 9, 1945. On August 9, 1945, the United States dropped a 21-kiloton plutonium bomb known as Fat Man on Nagasaki, Japan. The explosion caused widespread devastation and marked the second use of nuclear weapons in warfare, leading to Japan's surrender and the end of World War II just days later. Number 78. Man takes a selfie using a stick, 1957. In 1957, a man took an early selfie using a stick to activate the camera. This inventive approach to self-photography predates the modern selfie stick by decades, demonstrating that the desire to capture personal moments on camera has been a part of human behavior long before recent technology. Number 77. The wreck of James Dean's Porsche 550 Spyder, September 30, 1955. On September 30th, 1955, actor James Dean was fatally injured in a car crash near Cholame, California. His Porsche 550 Spyder, nicknamed Little Bastard, was destroyed in the accident. Dean's tragic death at the age of 24 immortalized him as a cultural icon of youthful rebellion and untimely loss. Number 76. A robber disabled by a pistol shot of colored lye, April 3, 1950. On April 3, 1950, a robber attempting to snatch a woman's handbag in Germany was disabled by a pistol shot of colored lye. The new shock weapon, which was on sale due to restrictions on civilian firearms, left the thief temporarily blinded, demonstrating the unique security measures of the time. Number 75. American soldier kisses his girlfriend in Hyde Park, London, 1945. In 1945, an American soldier shared a kiss with his girlfriend in London's Hyde Park. The couple, unsure of their future during World War II, were briefly reunited, capturing a tender moment of love and hope amid the chaos and uncertainty that defined the lives of many during the war. Number 74. Jewish prisoners liberated from a death train, 1945. In 1945, as World War II neared its end, Jewish prisoners were liberated from a death train by Allied forces. These trains, used by the Nazis to transport prisoners to concentration camps, became scenes of horror. The liberation marked a moment of salvation for the survivors of the Holocaust. Number 73. The Titanic's stern, photographed by Thomas Barker, April 11, 1912. On April 11, 1912, newspaper photographer Thomas Barker captured an image of the Titanic's stern as the ship made a brief stop at Queenstown, Ireland. This photograph, taken just days before the ship's tragic sinking, serves as one of the last visual records of the ill-fated ocean liner. Number 72. The Prince of Naples, holding a picture of his grandfather, Victor Emmanuel II, 1873. In 1873, the young Prince of Naples, later King Victor Emmanuel III of Italy, was photographed holding a picture of his grandfather, Victor Emmanuel II. His reign, marked by indecisiveness and political turmoil, eventually led to his abdication in favor of his son during Italy's transition to a republic. Number 71. A U.S. soldier runs past a burning house in Saigon, 1965. In 1965, during the Vietnam War, a U.S. soldier was photographed running past a burning house in Saigon. The chaotic scene reflects the intensity and destruction of the conflict, as North Vietnamese and Viet Cong forces launched coordinated attacks against multiple targets across South Vietnam. Number 70. French biplane in aerial photography, May 4, 1916. On May 4, 1916, a French biplane was photographed as part of an album of aerial photography near Paris during World War I. Aerial photography was a critical tool for reconnaissance, offering a bird's-eye view of the battlefield that greatly influenced military strategy during the conflict. Number 69. Japanese soldiers using blindfolded Sikh prisoners for target practice, 1942. In 1942, during the Battle of Singapore, Japanese soldiers used blindfolded Sikh prisoners for target practice. This barbaric treatment of prisoners of war exemplifies the brutalities committed by the Japanese military during World War II, highlighting the inhumane conditions faced by Allied soldiers captured in the Pacific Theater. Number 68. A dog completing a parachute jump during training in 1944. Throughout history, animals have played significant roles in warfare, with the Second World War being no exception. However, the training of dogs for parachute jumps was quite exceptional, showcasing the lengths to which military forces went to leverage every available asset. Number 67. The Paris Commune in 1871. This image shows a barricade at the corner of Rue Bessefroid and Rue de Charente on March 18, 1871. The Paris Commune was a radical socialist and revolutionary government that ruled Paris from March 18 to May 28, marking a significant moment in French history. Number 66. Robin Williams at 27 years old in 1978. Just weeks after the airing of Mork and Mindy, Williams was photographed on his way to Studio 54 in New York. He was attending a party celebrating his newfound fame, which marked the beginning of his extraordinary career in comedy and acting. Number 65. An anti-fascist militia fighter during the Spanish Civil War of 1936. On July 18, 1936, troops under General Francisco Franco initiated an uprising against Spain's democratically elected government. This war became a brutal precursor to the Second World War, involving international forces and leading to Franco's long dictatorship in Spain. Number 64. The Great Gama, Ghulam Mohammad Bakhsh Butt in 1910. A legendary Pehlwani wrestler from British India, he remained undefeated throughout his career. Renowned for his immense strength and skill, Gama dominated the early 20th century wrestling scene, earning the title of the world's undefeated wrestling champion. Number 63. In 1975, a MiG-21 fighter jet from the East German Armed Forces tragically crashed into an apartment block in Cottbus. The incident resulted in the deaths of the pilot and 5 residents. The crash highlighted the risks associated with military operations near civilian areas during the Cold War. Number 62. Lipa Radic of the Yugoslav partisans being executed in 1943. As she faced her executioners, she declared that she was not a traitor and that her comrades would eventually avenge her death. Radic, a teenage fighter against Axis forces, became a symbol of resistance and bravery during the Second World War. Number 61. A young boy in Morgantown, West Virginia, October 1908. The boy, barely old enough for school, is seen learning a trade from his boss, who began working at the same age. Child labor was common during this era, with many children toiling in dangerous and exhausting conditions. Number 60. Soviet peasants listening to the radio for the first time in 1928. For many in rural Soviet Union, the introduction of radio was a revolutionary event. However, these technological advancements contrasted sharply with the horrendous living and working conditions that Soviet peasants endured under Stalin's regime. Number 59. Concentration camp survivors being freed in 1945. As the Allies closed in, the Nazis attempted to evacuate concentration camps by transporting prisoners on death trains. This image shows survivors being liberated from one such train, highlighting the desperate and brutal measures taken by the Nazis during the war's final days. Number 58. President Lincoln's funeral procession on April 25, 1865, as it moved through New York City. Following his assassination, the nation mourned the loss of a leader who had guided the United States through its darkest hour, the Civil War. This somber event marked the end of an era. Number 57. A priest conducts mass for Irish soldiers during the American Civil War in 1861. This rare battlefield photo captures a Catholic priest leading a service for Irish Union troops in a makeshift tent. Religion played a crucial role in maintaining morale among soldiers during the brutal conflict. Number 56. The construction of the Statue of Liberty in the late 1800s. Gifted by the French to the United States, the statue symbolizes freedom and democracy. Its assembly involved intricate craftsmanship, with French workers meticulously creating the copper skin that would become an enduring icon of American ideals. Number 55. Students at an Indian training school in the late 1800s. These boys were trained in blacksmithing at the Forest Grove Indian Training School. Such institutions aimed to assimilate Native American children into Euro-American culture, often at the cost of their indigenous identities and traditions. Number 54. A determined donkey in wartime, 1940s. Animals played crucial roles during wars, often showing remarkable bravery. Some, like this donkey, were recognized for their contributions and even received medals. Their involvement underscores the varied and unexpected participants in the global conflicts of the 20th century. Number 53. A lone man refusing to give the Nazi salute in June 1936. August Friedrich Landmesser, the man in the photo, stood firm against the overwhelming tide of conformity, a powerful symbol of resistance against the oppressive Nazi regime. His act of defiance remains an iconic image of courage. Number 52. The only known photograph of Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg, discovered in 1952. Josephine Cobb found this image in the National Archives, capturing Lincoln delivering his famous Gettysburg Address. This momentous speech redefined the American Civil War as a struggle for a new birth of freedom and equality. Number 51. Recording the MGM lion's roar. The lion in this photo, named Jackie, provided the iconic roar that opens classic films like The Wizard of Oz. This memorable sound became synonymous with Hollywood's golden age, marking the beginning of countless cinematic experiences for audiences worldwide. Number 50. African American nurses in the U.S. Army Nurse Corps in 1944. Despite the challenges of segregation, 247 black nurses served by the end of 1944. Their dedication and service were crucial in providing care to wounded soldiers during the Second World War, paving the way for future integration in the military. Number 49. Helen Keller meets Dwight Eisenhower. This touching moment was captured when Helen Keller, a symbol of overcoming adversity, met President Eisenhower. Their meeting highlighted the remarkable achievements of Keller, who, despite being blind and deaf, became an influential advocate for people with disabilities. Number 48. 3 athletes training for the 1896 Olympics. The first modern Olympics, held in Athens, Greece in April 1896, featured 241 male athletes from 14 countries. These games marked the revival of the ancient tradition and laid the foundation for the global Olympic movement we know today. Number 47. Judge Roy Bean conducting court in his Wild West saloon. In the late 1800s, Judge Roy Bean served as the sole judge for a remote region of Texas. Known for his colorful personality and unconventional methods, he operated from a saloon, dispensing justice in his own unique manner. Number 46. Child survivors of the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. When the camp was liberated in April of 1945, 500 children were found alive among the wreckage. Many others were freed from trains or other camps to which they had been relocated. This moment marked a poignant end to their suffering. Number 45. Geronimo with a group of fellow Chiricahua Apache prisoners. Among the Chiricahua Apache prisoners captured is the renowned Apache leader and medicine man Geronimo, who is seen third from the right in the first row. His capture symbolized the end of a significant chapter in the Apache resistance. Number 44. An American anti-suffrage union in 1919. In contrast to the struggles faced by women's suffrage activists, this group opposed the expansion of voting rights to women. It's a stark of the historical resistance to gender equality, preceding the eventual passing of the 19th Amendment in 1920. Number 43. Women waiting to be taken to a Japanese internment camp. Japanese Americans were forcibly relocated to internment camps during the Second World War, with many waiting in distressing conditions before their internment. This policy, lasting until 1946, represented a severe injustice against Japanese American citizens. Number 42. A child laborer looking out a factory window in 1908. In 1904, the National Child Labor Committee was established to investigate and improve child labor conditions. This photograph highlights the harsh realities faced by child laborers, drawing attention to the need for reform in labor practices. Number 41. The human squirrel scaling a New York City skyscraper during World War I. In 1918, the human squirrel devised a daring stunt to support war relief funds. Known for his extreme and adventurous feats, he performed stunts to raise awareness and funds for the ongoing war efforts. Number 40. A wounded soldier during the American Civil War. This photograph, taken by Matthew Brady, captures the harsh reality of war. Brady's extensive documentation of the American Civil War provided powerful imagery that helped shape public perception of the conflict's devastating impact on soldiers and civilians alike. Number 39. A young newsie in 1910. The boy named Michael, captured during a heavy rainstorm, was selling newspapers despite recently recovering from pneumonia. His determination highlights the harsh conditions faced by newsboys, who often worked under severe circumstances to support themselves and their families. Number 38. Santa Claus visits Chicago in 1902. This early photograph shows Santa Claus in a thinner, less standardized version of his iconic red outfit. The evolution of Santa's appearance over the years reflects changes in cultural representations and the commercialization of Christmas traditions. Number 37. A llama cruising through New York City in 1957. Captured by Inga Morath during a Life magazine assignment, this unusual sight highlights the quirky side of New York City's vibrant life in the 1950s, showcasing the city's willingness to embrace the eccentric and whimsical. Number 36. Elizabeth Eckford integrating into an all-white school in 1957. As one of the Little Rock Nine, Elizabeth Eckford faced intense hostility while enrolling at Little Rock Central High School in Arkansas. Her bravery was pivotal in the struggle for civil rights and school desegregation in the United States. Number 35. A young boy watches televised images of the moon's surface. In this touching moment, a boy named Jay Bodner views live images transmitted by Ranger 9 just before it crashed into a lunar crater. This photograph reflects the wonder and excitement of the space race era. Number 34. The wife of Apollo 13 astronaut James A. Lovell. This photograph captures Marion Lovell intently listening to a broadcast about the perilous situation faced by her husband and his crew. Her composure and support during the crisis underscored the emotional toll on families of astronauts. Number 33. Soldiers and their mule wearing gas masks during World War I. In the face of chemical warfare, soldiers and their mules were equipped with gas masks to protect against mustard and chlorine gases. This image represents the severe and inhumane tactics used during the conflict. Number 32. Queen Elizabeth II cracking up President Ronald Reagan during a speech. As the longest reigning monarch in British history, Queen Elizabeth II had the opportunity to meet 12 American presidents. Her humor and warmth are showcased here, highlighting a moment of levity in formal diplomatic relations. Number 31. Al Capone's Depression-era soup kitchen. During the Great Depression, notorious gangster Al Capone operated a soup kitchen in Chicago to provide meals to the needy. This act of charity, though controversial, was a response to the widespread poverty and hardship of the era. Number 30. A woman and her dog getting matching waves in 1920. Miss Agnes O'Loughlin is seen here with her dog, both sporting stylish waves. This image captures a charming moment in fashion history, reflecting the trends and social norms of the early 20th century. Number 29. Princess and later Queen Elizabeth, circa 1942. It's astonishing to think that Queen Elizabeth II, known for her long reign and dignified presence, was once just a young girl. This photograph from 1942 captures her youthful innocence before she became the esteemed monarch we recognize today. Number 28. Liberated Soviet slave laborers being rescued from a cellar after it was locked and set on fire by a German policeman, April 1945. This distressing image from the end of World War II reveals the extreme measures taken by the Germans to dispose of laborers as they retreated. Number 27. A group photograph of Japanese officers taken by Felicia Beato in Japan during the late 1860s. Felicia Beato, one of the first photographers to venture into East Asia, captured daily life with remarkable detail, including this historic image of Japanese military officials in their traditional attire. Transitioning from wartime atrocities to moments of historical documentation and cultural transformation, we shift our focus from the dire circumstances of war to the intriguing historical perspectives captured through photography. Number 26. Betty Page at the beach, circa 1950s. Betty Page, a renowned model known for her striking beauty, is seen here enjoying a day at the beach. Despite her fame, she maintained a private life and modeled only briefly, leaving behind a lasting legacy of glamour and allure. Number 25. The eyes of the world are upon you, June 5, 1944. On this pivotal day, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy in a historic effort to liberate Western Europe from Nazi Germany. This moment marked a significant turning point in World War II. From the allure of iconic figures in the 50s to the monumental military operations that changed the course of history, we explore how moments of personal fame and global conflict intersect to shape our collective memory. Number 24. Albert Einstein wearing his Levi's Menlo Cossack leather jacket. Throughout the 1930s, Albert Einstein was photographed wearing this distinctive jacket. Known for his groundbreaking contributions to science, Einstein's choice of attire during this decade solidified his iconic status as one of the world's most famous scientists. Number 23. Brigitte Bardot, in front of the Eiffel Tower in the early 1950s. This stunning, colorized photograph captures Brigitte Bardot's transcendent beauty against the iconic backdrop of Paris. During this period, Bardot was becoming an international sensation, and this image reflects her early rise to fame. Number 22. A tunnel rat about to enter a Viet Cong tunnel with a suppressed revolver, Vietnam, 1960s. Tunnel rats were essential in uncovering and disarming traps within the intricate network of Viet Cong tunnels. This photograph illustrates the dangerous and demanding nature of their crucial role during the Vietnam War. Number 21. Nicholas II and George V, almost twins in royalty. These two royal cousins, Nicholas II of Russia and George V of the United Kingdom, were not only look-alikes but also close friends. Their relationship highlights the interconnectedness of European royalty during a period of significant historical change. Number 20. Acrobats on the Empire State Building, 1934. Acrobats Charlie Smith, Jewel Waddick, and Jimmy Kerrigan performed daring feats atop the Empire State Building, showcasing their extraordinary skills. This breathtaking image captures their impressive and risky stunts high above New York City during the Great Depression. Number 19. A young British girl outside a bombed home during the Battle of Britain in 1940. Amidst the rubble and destruction, this photograph shows a young girl clinging to her stuffed animal, symbolizing the innocence lost and the severe impact of wartime devastation on civilian lives. Number 18. Eleanor Roosevelt, age 14. From a school photo taken in 1898. This early photograph of Eleanor Roosevelt captures her as a young teenager. Even at this early age, she would later evolve into a prominent First Lady, advocate, and humanitarian, shaping American history significantly. Number 17. Finnish civilians entering a bomb shelter in Helsinki as air raid sirens start, with Soviet bombers inbound, November 30th, 1939. This tense moment captures the urgency and fear of civilians seeking safety as Finland faced Soviet bombings during the Winter War, highlighting the wartime hardships endured. Number 16. An American soldier inside a church somewhere in Europe, 1945. This moving photograph captures a soldier in awe of the church's interior, reflecting a moment of peace and contemplation amid the chaos of World War II. It offers a glimpse into the soldier's personal experience during the war. Number 15. The Grand Duchesses of Russia. Olga, Tatiana, Maria, and Anastasia Romanov, the daughters of Tsar Nicholas II, are seen here in a historical portrait. Their tragic fate and enduring legacy continue to captivate historians and the public, symbolizing the end of the Russian imperial family. Number 14. Buchenwald Concentration Camp, April 16, 1945. This photograph captures the harrowing conditions faced by prisoners at Buchenwald as it was liberated. Life in the camp was marked by extreme suffering, and this image is a stark reminder of the atrocities committed during the Holocaust. Number 13. Actress Betty White. Betty White, celebrated for having the longest television career of any entertainer, spanned over 80 years. Known as the First Lady of Television, her contributions to the medium and her beloved presence on screen made her an iconic figure in American entertainment. Number 12. John F. Kennedy campaigning in the hills of West Virginia, 1960. During his campaign for the presidency, John F. Kennedy reached out to rural voters in West Virginia, highlighting their struggles and earning their support. His efforts helped shape his image as a champion for the common people. Number 11. Fidel Castro on a visit to New York. 1959. Before becoming a global figure known for his revolutionary activities, Fidel Castro was welcomed as a charismatic guest in New York City. His visit marked a moment of intrigue and diplomatic engagement with the Cuban leader. Number 10. Salvador Dali working on paintings for the unfinished cartoon film Destino, 1945. Salvador Dali wrote the script and contributed to the storyboards for this ambitious project, which remained incomplete due to Walt Disney's financial struggles after World War II. The project was later revived decades later. Number 9. Babe Ruth, after enlisting in the National Guard, 1924. Even while serving in the military, Babe Ruth continued to be a major figure in baseball. This photograph captures Ruth's dual roles as a soldier and a sports icon, reflecting his influence both on and off the field. Number 8. Bean Picker, 1941. In the 1940s, family farms often relied on everyone pitching in during the harvest season. This photograph of a bean picker showcases the collective effort required to manage crops and maintain family-run agricultural operations during World War II. Number 7. Soldiers laughing at the Bob Hope Show in Seoul, Korea, 1950. Amidst the Korean War, Bob Hope's entertaining performances provided much-needed relief and laughter for soldiers stationed in Korea. This photograph captures the joy and camaraderie his shows brought to troops far from home. Number 6. Frederick Douglass in 1865. Frederick Douglass, a prominent leader of the abolitionist movement, is depicted in this powerful image from 1865. His advocacy for freedom and equality made him a significant figure in American history, leaving a legacy of courage and justice. Number 5. Okoso Watari, 17 years old. Okoso Watari, a hairdresser for the officers of the Tycoon Embassy in Paris, was born in Edo, Japan. His unique attire, complete with a sword, highlights the fascinating blend of cultures and the eclectic fashion of the era. Number 4. A farewell photo of English soldiers on the train before being sent to the front in September 1939. This photograph captures the young soldiers' smiles as they prepare to face the uncertainties of war. Their expressions reflect both the optimism and anxiety of the impending conflict. Number 3. Toronto resident Jose Morel Granatstein, age 3. In 1914, young Jose Granatstein, dressed in regulation service uniform, supported the war effort on the home front. His presence represents the widespread commitment of Canadians to the First World War, even at a tender age. Number 2. Franklin D. Roosevelt as Assistant Secretary of the Navy, 1913. Before becoming president, Franklin D. Roosevelt served as the Assistant Secretary of the Navy. This early role was a significant step in his political career, shaping his future leadership and contributions to American naval and military policy. Number 1. William Hutchings, age 100. Photographed in 1864, William Hutchings was one of the oldest surviving American Revolutionary War veterans. Enlisting at 15, Hutchings fought valiantly to protect his state's coast, embodying the enduring spirit of early American patriotism and resilience. Make sure you like, follow, and click the bell to make sure you never miss an update. Click on the next video popping on your screen now.